What if I told you that the Christianity we know today is only one version of a much older story, and that the earliest followers of Jesus believed something that would feel completely unfamiliar to most modern Christians? A version of his message that was lost, buried, and forgotten as history moved on. When Jesus walked the earth, his followers did not have a Bible, a church hierarchy, or formal doctrines. They had only the man himself, his words, his prayers, his actions, and the way he lived. And strangely, the beliefs of these earliest Christians do not completely match the beliefs many Christians hold today. In the first century, the community closest to Jesus was not Roman, Greek, or European. They were the Jewish followers living in Jerusalem. These were the people who ate with him, prayed with him, traveled with him, and tried to follow every step of his example. Their Christianity was simple, pure, and focused on the one God Jesus worshipped. These earliest Christians believed Jesus was the Messiah, the chosen one of God, the great teacher promised to their people. But they did not see him as God himself. They viewed him as a man selected by God, strengthened by God, and sent by God. This is recorded in the writings of the early groups known as the Nazarenes and the Ebionites, followers who traced their teachings directly to Jesus and his disciples. They lived the way he lived. They prayed the way he prayed. Their faith was built entirely around the worship of the one God and obedience to his commandments, just as Jesus taught. Yet as Christianity spread into the Roman world, this original version of the faith began to fade into the background. New cultures, new philosophies, and new interpretations slowly replaced the older teachings. In the centuries after Jesus, debates erupted across Christian communities. Different groups argued over who Jesus truly was, what his nature was, and how his message should be understood. Greek philosophy blended with Scripture. New theological ideas emerged. And long after Jesus, councils were held to vote on doctrines that would shape the future of Christianity. The result was a unified version of the faith, but one that did not represent every early Christian group. If we go back to the words of Jesus found in the Bible, a striking pattern appears. Jesus prays to God. He calls God greater than himself. He says he does not know the hour. Only the Father knows. He worships God, submits to God, cries out to God, and teaches people to obey God. This is not the language of someone claiming to be God, but the language of someone devoted entirely to God. When we strip away centuries of debate and return to the earliest records, we find a simple and powerful message. Jesus taught people to love the one God, to serve him sincerely, to pray with humility, to show compassion, and to follow the guidance of God's messengers. This is the faith Jesus himself practiced. This is the faith his closest followers preserved. Maybe the question we should ask is not, who is Jesus according to later doctrines, but who was Jesus according to Jesus? A man who lived in complete submission to God. A man who taught pure monotheism. A man chosen by God, strengthened by God, and sent with a message of truth. Perhaps the real understanding of Jesus is not hidden in complex theology, but in the way he lived his life. Simple, humble, devoted to the one. And maybe the truth about Jesus was never lost at all. Maybe it still lives in the earliest and purest understanding of his followers. A vision of Jesus as a man chosen by God, a messenger with a mission, a servant of the one.